As a guitar geek, I'm always striving to find new and inspirational artists to share with everyone. And today, I've found 10 women artists who are making their mark on acoustic music. One of the great joys of Acoustic Tuesday is finding something new for yourself, be it a piece of gear or an artist to listen to. And I have to say this, in today's show, you're gonna have 10 opportunities to discover a brand new artist. Yes, we'll be going over 10 women artists who are making their mark on acoustic music, and I'm willing to wager that you haven't heard of 7 of them. Yes, I would put money on that. These are very much under the radar artists, some of them, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by what you hear. Now, before we dig in, I have to say 2 things, 2 disclaimers. Number 1 is more of a credit where credit's due. There are 2 YouTube channels that I lean on pretty heavily to discover new artists, both for this very episode, but just in my own personal listening as well. And those 2 channels are Gems on VHS, as well as Western AF. And I would strongly recommend, if you are into discovering new music, you check out both of these channels. Again, that's Gems on VHS and Western AF. It's the type of situation where you can go to these channels, discover somebody new that you've never heard before and that you may never had heard before actually going on to one of these channels. But they also take the artists that we know and love and kind of paint them in a little bit of a different light. Many artists play with bands. Well, on these 2 channels, they take the band away and let the artists play just by themselves. Very, very cool channels. I strongly urge you to check them out. And also, you'll note, as I go through this list of 10 women artists, I strove to find artists that I have not featured on Acoustic Tuesday before. So you might be thinking, oh, Sierra Hall, Courtney Hartman, Molly Tuttle. Yes, I think those are incredible women artists. In fact, all the artists I've mentioned thus far on the Acoustic Tuesday show, I think are definitely incredible. But these are 10 new artists to me and new artists to the Acoustic Tuesday show. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. First up on my list is a banjo player named Kaia Kater. I believe she plays a little bit of guitar, but I would say primarily banjo, and she is a brilliant artist. Talk about an artist that is able to utilize space and sparseness to her advantage, because that space and that sparseness really makes way for her voice, which I think is unique, and it almost has this wonderful tentative, whispery quality, and it's highly, highly effective at conveying her lyrics. Here's her song, Sun to Sun.
When my work in the sun, spend my money when the work is done. When my work in the sun, spend my money when the work is done. 6 months ain't such a very long time. I got a friend in penitentiary doing 99.
Effortless banjo playing, and like I said, the voice is just captivating. Moving on to our next artist on the list is another banjo player, Libby DeCamp. This is an artist that I found on both Gems on VHS and Western AF, and I thought to myself, I absolutely need to know about her. A couple of notes, obviously she's a banjo player. She plays with a little bit more force than Kaia Kater does, but not much. So the sparseness is still there, and I think the lyrical prowess of Libby DeCamp shines through on all of her songs. And she has this subtle waver in her voice that I find almost addicting. I keep listening to the song and I'm like, I don't know what the term for that is, but I really like it, and I wanted to share it with you all. So here is Libby's song, On the Range.
Hey, come out, billions in number, incubated and casually plundered. None bear a name, no hold any claim to life, stripped of all wonder.
Okay, moving right along to our next artist, we're going to swing over to the country realm. And the next artist you're going to listen to is Kassi Valazza. And this artist is brand new to me. I just discovered her literally probably about a week and a half ago. And I'm kicking myself because I wish I knew about her earlier. She's definitely put her in the country genre, as I mentioned. And her songs, you know, the thing that I'm trying to find a word for her songs, and the word that keeps coming to mind is cinematic. I feel like her songs paint a picture in such a vivid way. And also on that, I feel like her songs would be at home in any Western. Think of kind of the desolate scene with the tumbleweed. I know that's kind of cliche, but that's exactly what I think of when I hear her sing and play. And here is her song, Johnny Dear.
Johnny, my sweet, won't you take a seat? I haven't seen your face in many years. Is your hair still brown? Is your heart way down? You come home in the morning.
I would strongly urge you to visit acousticlife.tv/AT152 to check out the full version of that song, and really all the songs that I've mentioned before or am going to mention on today's episode. Now, that song in particular has a really cool story associated with it, and I'll let you discover that again at acousticlife.tv/AT152. All right, we've already gone over 3 artists, and I want to know, of those 3, which one was the favorite of the bunch for you? Let me know in the comments below. I am dying to know, of those 3, which one caught your ear the most. For me, it's a toss-up. I feel like I have to answer this question since I asked you. I'm gonna say Kaia Kater. She's my number 1 out of this first bunch, but only by a narrow margin, I'll say that. All right, today on Acoustic Tuesday, we've already learned about 3 female artists that are making waves in the acoustic music scene, and we're gonna continue on down that road. In fact, strap yourself in and get a good cold beverage, because you got 7 more artists that will be gracing your ears.
Have you noticed this instrument over here that looks like a frying pan on a big stick? Well, that's a banjo, of course.
Welcome to Acoustic Tuesday, episode number 152. This is the show where you're going to learn about acoustic guitar gear, discover acoustic artists, and get inspired to live your very best acoustic life. As with all episodes of Acoustic Tuesday, I'm going to share with you my Guitar Geek list for the week. And this week, it happens to be composed entirely of female artists that are truly knocking my socks off. In fact, in an effort to pack as much music as we possibly can in on this episode, I'm going to forego the Guitar Geek trivia today and jump right back into my list of female artists. And coming in next is an artist that was new to me, is an artist that has incredible songwriting prowess. In fact, the song that I'm about to share with you, I think you'll be floored with. But before I share with you the song, let me go ahead and name the artist. Her name is Melody Walker, and I've seen Melody in a couple of different scenarios. Again, she's new to me. Again, I would say in the last week and a half, I've discovered her, and I've seen her kind of in a bluegrass realm, and then just kind of a straight-ahead songwriting realm. Think solo performance. And she's just, again, knocked my socks off every single step of the way between her voice and, again, that lyrical prowess. Wow. And I think a great example of that is her song that she co-wrote with Molly Tuttle called Bigger Than This. And here she is playing that very song with none other than Molly Tuttle.
Bigger than you think I am, I bet you're bigger too. Together we can take a stand and show them that it's true. I know our minds are both made up, but enough is enough. Our hearts aren't made of stone. No one should ever have to suffer alone, 'cause it's a small world, and we're bigger than this.
You'll notice I let that clip play longer than most because, well, harmonies, and harmonies. Between both Molly and Melody, their voices in and of themselves are incredible, but when combined, It is earth-shattering. It's pretty incredible. I could listen to that all day long. That's another one I want to encourage you to check out the full version. Please go to acousticlife.tv/AT152 to get the full version. I think that's a very timely song in terms of its lyrics and the impact that it has. It's one of those songs where you kind of come into it thinking, oh, this is about a relationship. And then upon the song ending, you're like, whoa, that was a journey. It's definitely not about a relationship, at least what we normally think of as a relationship. So definitely check out Melody Walker. What a great songwriter and a great artist in and of her own right. All right, moving on down the line. This next artist is one that I was so excited to find for a couple of reasons. Her name is Kiki Cavazos, and I was excited to find her because, number one, well, she's a brilliant singer-songwriter. Definitely in the country realm, but I would say kind of, we'll call it old school country. Her voice is almost like Bob Dylan and Loretta Lynn combined in a weird way. Her songwriting is very topical in terms of it's not suggestive. It's stated straight to the point, and I think that's one of the shining pieces of her songwriting. And the other bonus is she's actually from Montana. I've never heard of her before, and I'm so happy that I've heard of her now, and now you get a chance to hear her as well. Here is Kiki Cavazos singing Cold Love.
It's the end of the song. You never sang along. All cold love ain't no love at all. No, it's too hard to call.
Now, since you're a guitar geek, that by de facto makes you a music geek, and you're probably wondering, okay, I need to find that album, because that's exactly the question I asked myself. And I looked and I looked and I looked on Spotify and I looked on Amazon, nothing. But Bandcamp. I know I'm probably late to this party, but Bandcamp, she has I believe it's an 8 or 10 song album on there that you can purchase a digital copy of. You can also listen to all those songs right there on Bandcamp. And of course, I'll include a link at acousticlife.tv/AT152. Seriously, Whitney and I sat down for dinner the other night and we listened to Kiki's entire album. And Whitney asked me, she goes, when was this album recorded? And I was like, that's the response I was hoping, because I believe the album was recorded in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. But I said, Whitney, this sounds like it's straight from the 70s. It's 70s, maybe even late 60s. It's just, it's so good. And we had another moment with another Montana artist that is on my list, but I'm not going to mention her yet. You got to stay tuned for that, because wow, I'll tell you what, there's some talent in Montana that I never even realized. It's pretty awesome stuff. Let's go ahead and keep to the list in the order that I have it. Next up on our list is an artist you may well have heard of. She has played with Carolina Chocolate Drops before, and her name is Rhiannon Giddens. I think powerful is the best word to describe Rhiannon. From her voice to the way she writes, even to the way that she plays. She doesn't play with a heavy hand, but she plays so expressively. I think she can play 3 notes and it will bring you to tears because of the way that she plays and the tone that she conveys with her playing. An artist you absolutely must know about. She's, again, an incredible musician, an incredible creator, and an overall fantastic spokeswoman and activist. Her IBMA speech, I want to say, I don't know if I have the year right. Let's say it's anywhere from 2015 to 2018. Somebody posted a recorded version of her IBMA speech, and it is incredible. It's the best 28 minutes I've ever spent. It's very timely and something that I would encourage everybody to watch. I'll include the link again at acousticlife.tv/AT152. But so you get a sense of her musical prowess and power, let's listen to her playing Wayfaring Stranger.
I'm going home to see my mother. I'm going home, no more to roam. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going over home.
the subtlety with which she plays and the subtlety of her playing matched with her incredibly powerful voice, it's just a match made in heaven. It's a dynamic 1-2 punch. I was going to say dynamic duo, but I think 1-2 punch is maybe better. And I just now realized as we were listening to that clip, that's the one clip I noted we might not be able to include in the show. So if you actually saw it, we're in luck. We're good. But if you didn't see it, it's just because of some, copyright stuff. Some things get weird with various clips and whatnot. And most of the time, I find the right ones, but occasionally one slips through. So if you saw it, it's a good day. Buy a lottery ticket because not only did you hear Rhiannon Giddens, we're in luck because we didn't get copyright flag. Moving on down our list, here's a name that may not be familiar, but a voice that may be very familiar. Her name is Belle Plaine. She is indeed from Canada, and her voice may be familiar because she actually sang harmony on Colter Wall's song Caroline on his very first album. And it's a song that I've forever been in love with. And then when I found out that I was like looking through the liner notes, I was like, oh, Belle Plaine, I should look her up. Well, lo and behold, she brings that voice to her own songs of her own pen, and wow. Incredible. Incredible on so many levels. Let's listen to her song, Squared Up.
Oh, you bring home the saddest of songs when you're out on the road. Heartbreak on your sleeve for the whole world to know.
And again, I'll ask you to visit acousticlife.tv/AT152 to check out all those performances in their entirety and, of course, learn more about each of these amazing female artists. And speaking of each of these amazing female artists, of that group of 4, which one is your favorite? For me, I think hands down, maybe not hands down. It's so tough when, I ask you these questions and I'm like, oh, it's easy to answer, right? And then I think for myself and I think, actually, it's not so easy. It's kind of a toss-up for me between Kiki Cavazos and Rhiannon Giddens. And I think I'm going to have to go Kiki, and I think she just edges Rhiannon out by a hair, and it's simply because of the Montana factor. That's it. But I want to know what your favorite of the 4 is. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. All right, while you're thinking of your favorite, let's hop in our time machine, as long as you can get up the ladder safely while you're thinking. We'll visit episode 150, which was a couple weeks ago, and the title of that episode, or rather the subject matter of that episode, was guitar being the instrument of the future. Yes, that episode you were actually able to see a guitar float in space. Well, float inside of the International Space Station with astronaut Chris Hadfield. And I want to visit some comments from that episode. Our first one comes from Brian Leary, and he says this. Hello, Tony. I love your show, and in your sharing of comments from the Gibson versus Martin episode, I am inspired to respond to the comment, quote, doesn't matter what is on the headstock if it sounds good. And then he says as a parenthetical, that might be a poor paraphrase. I watched your show where you named your top guitars for blues, in which the Gretsch Jim Dandy was reviewed and highlighted by Eric Bibb playing one. Long story long, I thoroughly love playing mine and want to thank you for all the informative nuggets of inspiration for us guitar geeks. Sincerely, Brian Leary. Well, thanks so much for watching, Brian. And I agree. I think there's a lot of power behind that statement. It doesn't really matter what's on the headstock. If you enjoy playing your guitar, if it inspires you, then that's the perfect guitar for you, and you should play the absolute hell out of it. Moving on to our next comment. This one comes from Davy Joe Weaver. We're talking about space travel. This is Galactic Guitar Geeks in Space, Galactic Guitar Geeks in the Galaxy, if we really want to alliterate the heck out of that. Davy Joe says this, Guitar Geeks in Space. What could be better, Tony? Next, the moon, Mars, and beyond. What a great tool to impress our galactic brothers and sisters, eh? Great show as always, great features, and a great bunch of fellow guitar geeks. It truly connects us all around our Mother Earth. After all, we all are family. Love, light, peace, music, and acoustic life to everyone. Davy Joe in PA. That's a nice sentiment. I appreciate that, Davy Joe. Nice little light comment that brings us all together. Thanks so much for sharing that. Our next comment comes from Stephen Bolfing, and he simply says this. Acoustic guitars are organic. When the instrument and the player become one, magic happens. You hear it, feel it, smell it, and they are beautiful to behold. And a novice can learn to play a song in one lesson. Yet the greatest players are always learning something new. I feel like this was a visit to the Oracle with Steven here because he said so many cool things. One, which is very surface level, but something I should mention, acoustic guitars do smell good. There's nothing that beats sniffing the sound hole of a guitar and smelling, if you smell Brazilian rosewood, you get a little bit of a minty kind of a smell. Sometimes you can smell the Spanish cedar that's used on the kerfing sometimes, and the spruce. I mean, it's just, sometimes each manufacturer, you can kind of smell the workshop smell because it's in the guitar. Anyways, yes, I am indeed a true geek. But I think the true philosophical thing that Steven mentioned was a novice can learn to play a song in one lesson, which is incredible. For somebody brand new to the guitar, can sit down and learn something that's recognizable and share it with their friends. That's amazing. And then the other side of that, the greatest players are still always learning something new. It's a never-ending journey, one that, of course, when you're living your best acoustic life, you enjoy every single day. So thanks for mentioning that, Steven. A fantastic comment indeed. Our next comment comes from Mike C. Mike C says, "Great show, Tony. It seemed to fly by. Now I'm on my way to your website /links to delve in even deeper. Thanks for making just another Quarantine Tuesday special." Well, thanks for watching, Mike C. And again, all of the Acoustic Tuesday shows are accompanied by a post at acousticlife.tv. You can go there and do your own research, your own digging, and if you like falling down the rabbit hole just like I do, that's your place. That's your place to go for sure. Next up, our final question, our final comment comes in the form of a question. This comes from Howl at the Moon. Note, they have a Phoenix Coyote, I'm sorry, Arizona Coyotes logo as their little member picture there. And they say, "What's the reason you only play acoustic guitar and not the electric?" I dated myself. I realized when I said Phoenix Coyotes, it's the Arizona Coyotes. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Or ruffle any fur, coyotes, get it. Anyways, the question, what's the reason you only play acoustic guitar and not the electric? Well, I do play the electric. Electric is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I enjoy playing it, but I don't play it as much as I play acoustic. And I think for me, and it actually goes back to Steven's comment, playing the acoustic guitar, it's just, you're making sound out of just an object. Whereas I feel like with the electric guitar, you're making sound out of an object, but you need to plug it into pedals, you plug it into the amp, and then you can kind of play along, which is super fun. And again, I'm not knocking that by any means, but to me, nothing beats that visceral feeling of sitting down with the acoustic guitar, feeling it rumble against your chest, hearing the sound that's coming directly out of the instrument, knowing that the only thing that's making the sound come out is your hands vibrating the strings. The guitar's doing all that work. It's really a magical experience, and I think that's why I gravitate towards the acoustic guitar. It's just for me, it's been a lifesaver my whole life, figuratively and literally. But it's nothing beats that. I'll sit on my porch and just while the hours away, just playing the guitar, and it's something that I look forward to really every single day. So that's a little insight into my love affair with the acoustic guitar. I want to thank everybody for their comments back on episode 150, and of course for your comments on all the episodes. I greatly appreciate being able to engage in these discussions with you Acoustic Tuesday viewers. And speaking of Acoustic Tuesday viewers, we got a guitar gratitude from Hawaii. This guitar gratitude comes from Alan Lemieux, and he has some incredibly uplifting things to say. Here's Alan.
Hey Tony, Alan from Hawaii. I just wanted to give my gratitude for the guitar. One is I'm playing daily, and I thank you for that. Two is it's created community here on the island of Oahu. There's 3 of us. We usually meditate together, and now we're playing guitar together. I actually brought one of them down to buy a guitar today, and we had a little jam session after we got back. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Aloha.
So cool to hear that Alan is a daily player. That's huge, a huge win in anyone's guitar journey. But then bringing in the scope of community and how not only is he's seeing the acoustic guitar helping develop community around him, he's also helping others find the joy in the acoustic guitar. It's this kind of win-win-win win scenario. So thanks so much for sharing that, Alan. Greatly appreciate it, and certainly have a lot of gratitude for you and all the guitar geeks that have submitted guitar gratitude. If you do want to submit guitar gratitude, share something with us guitar geeks that you're grateful that the guitar has brought into your life. Please visit guitargratitude.com. Once you go there, you'll be prompted to submit a 60 seconds or less video, and it's just something that's nice to share with your fellow acoustic guitar geeks to say, hey, man, this guitar, I'm certainly grateful for it, and here's why. For me, it's actually, the list goes on and on and on and on. But I have to say that, now that we're coming close to Whitney and I becoming parents of a little one. I have a son, a 13-year-old son named Aiden. He lives in Chicago, but Whitney and I are expecting here in September. I think one of the cool things for me to reflect on is that I'm grateful for the guitar because it actually, in a weird way, brought Whitney into my life. I used to play at her coffee shop here in Bozeman, and relationships started. Friends at first, of course, but then, of course, it blossomed, and here we are now expecting our first kiddo. Pretty cool stuff. There's a little impromptu guitar gratitude from me. Next up on my list here is a guitarsenal. This comes to us from New Britain, Connecticut by Daniel Wynn. And here's what is in his guitarsenal. We've got a Squier Telecaster, a Breedlove Discovery CE, a Taylor 224 CEK Deluxe, and a Fender American Standard Telecaster. Great choice of color on your guitarsenal shirt there, Daniel. Certainly appreciate you sharing that with us. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, I got a guitarsenal, and I want to be like Daniel, please do be like Daniel. Go ahead and visit acoustictuesday.store. Once you're there, pick out the guitarsenal shirt, and when you check out, don't forget to add the promo code Guitar Geek. That'll get you free shipping as long as you live in the US from now until the end of summer. And once you have that guitarsenal shirt, put it on, take a picture amongst all your guitars, and submit it at acousticlife.tv. There's a submit link in the top menu. Click on it. You can upload your picture just like Daniel did, and then describe your guitars just like Daniel did as well. And then I'll feature you on an upcoming episode of Acoustic Tuesday. Moving on, we got one more thing before we jump back into our list of incredible women songwriters and acoustic music players. We got to visit the mailbag real quick, and I have one thing that's physical and one thing that's digital. Let's start out with the physical thing. I got this fantastic pickpocket from the folks at Pickers Grip. I want to thank Billy on the show here. Billy actually sourced, this is an old coin pouch kind of thing here, where you squeeze the ends and you can plop your picks in there. Billy actually sourced and found the U.S. manufacturer of these. He was determined to not do a kind of a cheap knockoff. So he found the U.S. manufacturer of these, made it neon yellow so you wouldn't miss your picks, you wouldn't lose them, and he sent me one. So I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, Billy. I think that's pretty awesome, and I'll put my blue chip picks in there so that I don't lose them. Something that I'm embarrassed to admit that I've lost more than one blue chip pick, and those aren't cheap to lose. They're like 35 or 40 bucks. It's like taking a couple of 20s out of your wallet and just throwing them on the sidewalk. Anyways, the pickpocket will certainly cure that. And if you're interested, Billy has these for sale on his website. Just go to pickersgrip.com, and while you're at it, check out Pickers Grip. It's a pretty awesome product as well, one that I use and really stand behind. In fact, I was without it this weekend, and it's hot, it's summer, and my fingers were sweating, and I noticed my pick traveling, and I thought to myself, I am addicted to Pickers Grip, actually. So make sure to check that out. Now on to another arrival in the mailbag. This one came digitally, and it's not a guitarsenal. It came to us from Elkridge, Maryland. And check this out. This is submitted by John Cunningham, and he says this: not a guitarsenal as such. I am indoctrinating my children in the way of the Guitar Geek. As a family, we have watched every episode starting with number 1. My 9-year-old daughter drew this during the Martin versus Gibson episode. I thought you might like it. Indeed, I absolutely love it. I think the resemblance is uncanny. The attention to detail is supreme. Spelling on the name, nailed, and there's a guitar in it. It checks all the boxes for me. Thanks so much for submitting that, John, and thanks to your daughter as well for not only drawing that picture, but being a dedicated and young guitar geek. Pretty cool to know that Acoustic Tuesday is a family affair. All right, let's jump back into our list of women of acoustic music, women making waves in acoustic music. Tough one to name, but we could also say inspirational women artists, but I think I've saved the best 3 for last, but I want you to be the judge. There's another Montana resident on here that I am really excited to share with you all because she has been played in my household in the entire weekend. That's how incredible I think she is. But let's go ahead and dive right back in. This next artist is not from Montana. Her name is Molly Parden. And Molly Parden is a new discovery, again, for me. A lot of these are new discoveries. And I discovered her on the Gems on VHS YouTube channel. And she was singing this song. And what struck me was the way that she had such a delicate voice. But when I say delicate, I don't mean that it wasn't powerful, because it was equally powerful. And on top of that, her lyrics are so incredible. The song that I've selected for you is called Seasons of Love, and it's essentially comparing, at least my take on it, is comparing a relationship to the seasons. And a great song to listen to, and we're going to actually have the luxury of listening to it right now. Here it is.
I'll take you with me in the summer. Our 2 hearts beating as one, and I will find you some sleepless night, or under the merciless sun. I won't let you go, I won't let you go, I won't let you go, I won't let you go.
I should probably mention the guitar too. I want to say that's a Gibson B25. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm maybe 70% sure. I'm 70% sure that's a Gibson B25. Nonetheless, it's not about her guitar specifically. It's about her artistry, and definitely an artist you should check out for certain. Next up on the list, we've only got 2 left, and the next one I'm going to feature is not from Montana. I'm going to save the final artist, the final Montana artist. She'll be in the final spot. But this next artist is Sabine McCalla. Now, I just wrote in my notes. It simply says this: voice, 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 voice. And if I copy and pasted it, I would just continue saying voice. Her voice is so powerful. I want to say, I don't know if this is a super, well, I think it's okay to say. I want to say her voice is almost Etta James-ish in a way. Just talking about delivering the lyrics with just this emphatic confidence, and just it's a beautiful voice, one that you absolutely must hear. Here she is playing the song Baby Please Don't Go in a very stripped down format, and one that I think you'll very much enjoy.
The water is rising, the air is hot, I got the blues, babe. Can't imagine me not, imagine me not without the blues. Imagine me without the blues.
I mean, just a magical moment. Just a magic moment. I feel like everybody there, either singing harmony or just simply listening, was hanging on every single word. And that's one of those performances I want you to go to acousticlife.tv/AT152 to check out, because she does a little kind of a story, a prelude to the song, and it has such a wonderful story, and once you get the story of the song, it makes listening to the song that much more powerful, as if it wasn't powerful enough already. Again, that's Sabine McCalla, and somebody you should definitely know. On to the final spot here, and this was one that, like I said, talk about captivating. I just have to say I'm so delighted that I found this video. Again, huge thanks to the folks at Western AF for making these videos and making some of these under-the-radar artists more exposed to the music-loving public. This next artist, her name is Riddy Arman, and I mean this in the most respectful manner. I feel like Coulter Wall is somebody who I hold in very high regard when it comes to modern country music, but I don't mean modern like the stuff you hear on the radio, like real true songwriter country music. I feel like Riddy Arman is the female equivalent of Colter Wall. And again, I say that with the most respect. I think she is a brilliant writer. Her voice is so full of passion and emotion, and talk about conveying the lyrics in a way that just cuts straight to your heart. I mean, I listen to the song that you're about to hear, and I'm darn near tears every single time I listen to it. The song's entitled Spirits, Angels, or Lies. It's got a fascinating story behind it, one that is of deep personal meaning to Riddy. In fact, again, check it out. Check out the full version at acousticlife.tv. But here's a quick snippet of that song, Spirits, Angels, or Lies.
He said you won't believe who came to my bedside. Johnny Cash on a freight train sometime in the night. Well, he wanted me to go along for a ride. But I told him I'd stay for my children and my wife.
Now, I've got another performance from her that I want you to hear. But first, one of the things I noticed actually just now in watching that, she has this faraway look while she's singing that song. And I think you see that a lot on some of these recorded performances where people are actually being filmed playing their songs. And I think there's two modes of thought. One is, they're intentionally not looking at the camera. The other mode of thought is they're so enveloped in the song that they don't even perceive the camera being there recording them. And I definitely feel like Riddy is the latter of the two. I think she is the song just clearly has taken her away into another zone, and she is just in it. You're seeing somebody totally in flow, and it's really incredible to see. The same is true for this next song you're going to hear. This is one of those situations where I found both of these songs on YouTube. Quite simply couldn't pick. I was like, one song per artist, and that's it. That's going to be my rule. And then I thought, well, I made the rule. I can break the rule, so let's go ahead and break the rule. Here's Riddy's song, Problems of My Own.
Brothers crying, guess I rock him on my knee. Mama's drinking, she's been lashing down on me. Well, I'ma grow up fast, never look back, find some problems of my own. Well, I'ma grow up fast, never look back, find some problems of my own.
I can't remember the last time I was this excited about a single artist that I found. To the point to where I this whole last weekend, prior to actually filming the show, Whitney and I would listen to her EP as many chances as we possibly could. And you're probably wondering, where do I get this EP? Well, it's, again, not on Spotify. It's not on Amazon. I don't believe it's even in physical print, but you can find it, again, at Bandcamp. I know, I'm late to the party, but Bandcamp is a great resource for musicians. You're able to actually hear the songs, purchase a digital copy. And that's what I would strongly urge you to do for Riddy's album. It's a 6-song EP that you can just put on repeat. There's a song, Half a Heart Keychain, that kicks the whole thing off. It's so good. Anyways, that's my list. I'll quit the gushing here. Let me give you a quick review of who we all featured today. It's been quite a list of amazing musicians. We've got Kaia Kater, great banjo player. Libby DeCamp, another banjo player. Kassi Valazza, great country artist. Melody Walker, incredible lyricist. Kiki Cavazos, native Montanan and a fantastic writer. Rhiannon Giddens, Belle Plaine, and then those final three we just took a listen to, Molly Parden, Sabine McCalla, and Riddy Arman. Just a great list of new artists to you. And now I have to ask you the question, did I win the bet? Have you not heard of at least 7 of those artists? I hope not. I hope those artists were all new to you, and I hope that today's episode has been just a path of discovery for you. And I hope that your Spotify playlists and your digital lists for listening are full, and you're excited to dig into these albums as much as I was and really truly still am. All right, since the show is nearly over, this is usually the time where I wrap up with the Guitar Geek Trivia answer, and I'm about worn out. I'm totally worn out. So we're just gonna go ahead and take a sneak peek into next week. Next week on Acoustic Tuesday, I'm gonna share with you the 10 albums that changed my life. Yes, I'll be going through each one and letting you know why it's on my list and what impact it had on me and my guitar journey. Yes, you're going to learn about the albums, you're going to get some new artists to listen to, and you're going to learn some little factoids about me and my whole guitar journey as well. I'm really looking forward to next week's episode. I want to thank you for joining me on this week's episode. Remember, you can catch Acoustic Tuesday every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time here on YouTube. And of course, for your Acoustic Tuesday fix in between Tuesdays, just visit acousticlife.tv, where you can do a deep dive on anything I've ever featured in the show since its inception, which was nearly 3 years ago. Yes, we have a 3-year anniversary coming up. I'm not even going to share details about that because I can't even handle it. It's that exciting. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have some new artists to listen to and ones that you truly, truly find joy in listening to. Thank you so much for being a guitar geek. And until next week, remember, Guitar Geeks Unite. Cheers.